आ, 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 श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम। Okay, so I was just for the interest of looking at where we were and understanding how we have been progressing. What I realized is that we are spending a lot of time in understanding the shloka or understanding the word meaning of the shloka, which actually is not necessary because the text is available and the text is we know that we are following a particular text. तो गुरुदेव का पूरा ट्रांसलेशन किया हुआ है, वर्ड बाय वर्ड मीनिंग दिया हुआ है. So instead of spending time on looking at the word meanings of individual words and letters, what we will do is, if there is a doubt and if there is a doubt about the meaning, we can always discuss. But otherwise, in general, we will keep this as a sort of a discussion forum in understanding कि क्या हो रहा है वहां. Right? Last time we had covered up to verse number 92. In 92, he closed at a point, Acharya closed at a point where he says that for the realized soul, prarabdha cannot exist. For the realized soul, prarabdha cannot exist. Now, what does this mean? Any ideas? What do you think? What does this mean? इसका मतलब क्या? प्रारब्ध cannot exist. इसका मतलब ही क्या? Anybody? Lalita ji, Meena ji. Yes, please go ahead.
So the way I see this is, what is the relevance of prarabdha? The relevance of prarabdha is only to the extent of the impact it has upon the individual. But when you are realized that impact no longer exists, it doesn't matter anymore that your past actions have some fruit on your current body. The body again has lost its relevance to you. So whatever happens, it happens. There is no, how do you say, it becomes irrelevant. That's what I take from here, that the entire focus and worries and everything about prarabdha, they vanish.
Okay.
It is irrelevant. Just like somewhere some sun is colliding with some other sun somewhere in the universe. How do we care? We don't care anymore.
Okay. मीना जी, आपका इस पे कुछ सोच विचार है?
हाँ बिल्कुल, कि जो प्रारब्ध हमारे बने हुए होते हैं वो पूर्व जन्म से ही, मतलब हम अपने जो कुछ इच्छाएं हैं उनको अपने अंतस में दबा करके हम जब अपना ये शरीर त्याग देते हैं, तो साथ में वो जो शरीर तो क्योंकि पुराना हो चुका है वस्त्र की तरह, वो तो चला गया, लेकिन जो उसके अंदर जो फिल है वो चीज हम कैरी ऑन करते हैं और उसके अनुरूप ही हम आगे किसी जन्म में जाकर के और उसके अनुरूप अनुरूप हम कार्य करते हैं. लेकिन लाइक दिस की मैं कई बार अपना ही इसमें उदाहरण देखती हूँ कि शायद तो कुछ ऐसा कुछ रहा होगा कि मैं बिल्कुल अननोन पर्सन, ये जो अपना स्पिरिचुअल पाथ है इसमें मैं बहुत बारीकी से इस चीज को ऑब्जर्व करती हूँ. कई बार तो मैं सोचती हूँ कि समीर सर का मिलना और मुझे इस डायरेक्शन में घुमाना, शायद मेरा कुछ प्रारब्ध रहा होगा, ऐसा कुछ ऐसा मेरा पहले पूर्व जन्म का कुछ तो ऐसा रहा होगा, या ऐसा रहता है सबका, नॉट फॉर यू.
तो नहीं, आप बता रहे हैं, वेरी गुड. ओके. So you have introduced a very interesting another concept. It is called Rinanubandha. So it's a concept. It's a Vedantic concept. It's called Rinanubandha. ऋण का मतलब तो हम लोग समझते हैं ऋण के कारण अनुबंध होना. Right now we will discuss that. So anyway, finish कीजिए.
Could you please repeat the question once, please?
My question is, what is the, see this last 92 ends at a point which says that for a realized soul, for a realized Mahatma, the prarabdha is no longer exists. Very categorically, this is exactly the literal translation of what the shloka says. Now, what does this mean? What does it mean to you? What does it mean? It can mean 100 things. What does it mean to you? That is the
I
question.
also can't able to listen you.
Yeah. Samirji,
Please,
your
हो गया.
got broken.
Okay, I have no idea as to why that is happening. I am on a 5G network which seems to be showing full coverage. So, pata nahi. Anyway, Lalita ji, again repeating, what is the meaning of prarabdha does not exist for a Mahatma? What is the meaning of that for you? What does it mean to you? What does this statement give you in terms of your manan? That is the question.
See, he would
No,
have.
wait. Sorry. Wait. Please wait. Because Minaji had not finished.
I think Meenaji had not finished. Correct.
हाँ.
Yes, Meenaji,
जी.
please.
हाँ, तो मैं बस वही कह रही थी कि तो जैसे
आपने म्यूट कर दिया अपने आप को.
हाँ, तो हम अपने कर्मास को लेकर के और हमने दूसरा शरीर में प्रवेश किया और उसके अनुरूप जैसे अग्नि के अंदर चिंगारी आग तो होती है लेकिन राख उसके ऊपर छाई हुई रहती है. तो जैसे ही कोई उसको थोड़ा फूंक मारता है, कोई ऐसा व्यक्ति जिसको जो उसके अंदर भी वही है, मतलब उसके अंदर जो नॉलेज है और सेम ये शायद ईश्वर मिलाता है. इसको जो मिलना है ना, इसको हमारा प्रारब्ध कहेंगे. महात्मा के ऊपर क्यों नहीं ये होता, क्योंकि वो ऑलरेडी रियलाइज सोल है. तो वो उसको ध्यान है, उसको पता है कि मैं कहाँ स्टैंड करता हूँ या मेरा रास्ता किधर है. तो ये मेरा इसमें थोड़ा जानना था.
Okay. Lalita ji, what is your view?
Yeah, because he would have left, he or she would have given up the kartritva bhavam, the doership. So then there is no karma accumulating or carried forward or anything. It doesn't apply in that case. I think Gnaneshwar or someone said.
Hold on. You are talking of karma after realization. I am talking of prarabdha. What is prarabdha? Definition क्या है prarabdha का?
The accumulated, which is fruiting now, in this life.
That which is in force now, right now, right?
Yes,
it can be coming in force tomorrow, means it is a part of sanchita. What is coming in force right now is what is prarabdha.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So in general, the word in prarabdha is used in a negative sense. See, जब आपके पास कुछ खराब होता है ना, तो अरे यार तेरा कितना खराब लगता है. अरे कुछ नहीं, वो तो मेरा प्रारब्ध है. माथा के ऊपर में ऐसे हाथ मार के बोलते हैं, तो मेरा तो प्रारब्ध है. राइट. जब एग्जाम में फर्स्ट होके आता है बच्चा, तो ये नहीं बोलता है कि ये भी मेरा प्रारब्ध है.
तब बोलेंगे मैंने किया है.
तब वो बोलता है मैंने किया है. Now the impact of both is because of which we are calling the prarabdha. So prarabdha, will it exist? When Acharya is saying and Gurudev is explaining, what we have to understand is the physical reality of the prarabdha will always be there.
Because just like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa ji,
that cannot be avoided. Right? Ramana Maharshi ko cancer hua.
Raman Maharshi, yes.
So Swami Rama of the Himalayas ko throat cancer hua. उनको lung cancer hua. The Thakur ko throat cancer hua. All of these were things that have happened, right? For that matter,
Yes.
Anandamayi Ma ne bhi sharir tyaga na ultimately. So everybody, all of them, whoever is living today, whoever
But
has lived in the past. So what happens? What happens is, my question therefore is so very correct, right? All of our views कि हमारा ये क्या हो रहा है कि we suddenly realize that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. I have understood that all the time, right? Everybody in this class right now, all 4 or 5 of us, we all understand very clearly. इसमें समझने में किसी को कोई तकलीफ नहीं है कि मैं शरीर मनस और बुद्धि नहीं हूं, मगर ये हमारी अनुभूति नहीं है. It is not my experience. But for the realized master, or rather I call him the unrealized master, because हम ना body, mind, intellect को real समझ रहे हैं, उसने इसको unreal कर दिया है. तो उसके unrealized master, what happens to him is that for him, therefore, this universe itself has become unreal. So if there is something which is happening, he is seeing it as a movie. Is the movie not existing? Oh, movie is existing. But what is the movie? The movie is all fun. The movie is all fun. देखिए हम लोग मूवी में ट्रेजेडी वाली मूवी भी देखने जाते हैं ना, राइट? हॉरर वाली मूवी भी देखने जाते हैं. इट्स नॉट दैट हम सिर्फ कॉमेडी देखने जा रहे हैं. We are going and seeing horror movies, we are seeing action movies, we are seeing tragedy movies, we are seeing comedy movies. We see all different types of movies, right? And we have fun with all the movies. सारी movies में हमें बहुत मजा आ रहा है. Now, if life itself becomes a movie, तो क्या हो रहा है? मजा ही मजा है, आनंद ही आनंद है, क्योंकि पूरी लाइफ ही मूवी हो गई. ओ देखो कितना शरीर के अंदर उसका क्या ये प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है. नाउ very interesting here. I have told this story earlier. I think, I'm not sure if I have in this group. Have I told you about Swami Kriyananda's tooth extraction? शायद मैंने बताया था. तो स्वामी क्रियानंदा का टूथ एक्सट्रैक्शन हुआ विदाउट एनेस्थेशिया. मोलर को तोड़ फोड़ के निकाला, right? 80-year-old person, no anesthesia. A molar was gripped, removed, and the doctor who was doing it had tears in his eyes, knowing fully well how much pain that normally causes. So, despite that, he had no pain, or at least he did not manifest any pain. But same person, while walking, suddenly steps on a thorn. He will jerk his foot and he will say, "Oh, क्यों होगा ऐसा? What is happening? What happened? Can you understand this?"
If he chooses to see via the body consciousness, one feels the pain, one sees the pain.
Very nice. So what happened here, and I asked this question, right? That if the mind, so I asked him, how did he do this? I mean, how can one learn how to ignore so much pain? So he said, the pain is in your body, it is reflected through your mind, and therefore I took my mind and I put it at my guru's feet. Now that is a very immense task, to take your mind completely away from your body and put it at a particular point where the body has stopped existing. Correct? However, to function in this world, he now chooses, please listen to the words very carefully, he chooses to reassociate the mind and the body. He chooses to reassociate. Right? ठाकुर बहुत इसका ब्यूटीफुल कुंडलिनी की यूज करके इन्होंने एक्सप्लेन किया है. नॉट दैट आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ.
What was the word you said? He chooses to
reassociate the body and the mind. So,
okay.
So now the Thakur explains this in a very different way, but he uses Kundalini and he explains this very beautifully. He says, as long as the consciousness has not touched the Sahasrara, we are still functioning in the world. We are still functioning in the world, right? The 6 chakras, they are all indicated in the Kundalini Yoga. The lowest chakra is indicated with the earth element. Then the Swadhisthana is associated with the water element, Anahata with the Manipuraka with the fire element, the Anahata with the Vayu element, Vishuddhi with the space element, and Ajna with the ego element, right? Or the Manas element. So it is still in the body-mind complex. But the moment it has touched the Sahasrara, the body-mind has dissolved. The connection with the body-mind has dissolved. Then he says, then out of compassion, such beautiful and powerful words, out of compassion, such a person brings his consciousness back to the Vishuddhi. And remember, he is saying Vishuddhi. Why? Because Vishuddhi talks about space. Space is associated with sound. And what do you do with sound? Teach. Out of compassion, he teaches. Right? All the teachers that we are talking about, they manifest that compassion for other human beings, for other beings who are in bondage, not only human beings, in bondage, so much that we all say, oh, they are so loving. Right? डांटते हैं, मारते हैं, फिर भी हम बोलते हैं नहीं नहीं, उनका उनसे जितना प्यार, उनसे ज्यादा प्यार और कोई नहीं कर सकता है, माँ भी नहीं कर सकती है. तो ये जो प्यार है, क्यों है? Because he has what is called unjudgmental, unconditional love. And he uses that as compassion to teach. So that reassociation of body-mind, therefore, now the moment the body-mind has reassociated, the trajectory of the ball which was thrown yesterday has to carry through. So if I did eat 40 rasgullas per day, every day, for 40 years, became overweight, made my liver very fatty, made my pancreas non-functional, and in my seat of meditation, I suddenly unrealized my body-mind intellect. Will the body still get diabetes? Yes. Will it still may suffer a heart attack? Of course. There is no, because that is in the material universe. And now for me, it has become a movie. It has become a movie. I am seeing a movie. Oh, movie में देखो किसको इसको कितना अच्छा डायबिटीज हुआ, बहुत मीठा हो गया वो, बहुत मीठा हो गया, इतना मीठा है कि चींटियां भी आके काटती है, सुसु करता है तो चींटियां पी जाती है. जानते हैं ना संस्कृत में डायबिटीज को क्या बोलते हैं? मधुमेह. मेह मीन्स यूरिन. मधुमेह, स्वीट यूरिन. That is the name of the disease in Sanskrit. Madhumeha. So now carrying forward. So is it really true that body, mind, intellect is not the is not me? Is a bigger question. In the next shloka, yes, please. Go ahead.
You mentioned this about compassion. I remember a statement by Swami Vivekananda in his complete works. If a supreme realized person was not compassionate, would he in any way be lesser?
I don't understand the question.
Would they be in
I
any
am
way
saying that a person who is completely realized, if you analyze every act of compassion, there is someone, somewhere, some entity that suffers because of this compassion. I'm not talking about the suffering of the person who is being compassionate. I'm talking about the fact that any act can also have an impact that is not positive. Okay, so what I'm saying is, Vivekananda said that some of the greatest masters are unknown.
Yeah. So that does not mean. Oh, hold on. Absolutely right. I've understood.
If somebody doesn't have compassion, he doesn't become lesser in my eyes.
No.
If he's a supreme realized master, he's a supreme realized master.
The compassion is the nature of the realized master. It is the nature. Like Sachidananda is the nature of Brahman, compassion is the nature of the realized master. The difference is two types. One, reach out and teach. The other remains in seclusion, but will teach you if you go there. Very simple. We have seen that, right? Tapovan Maharaj, Gurudev. If you wanted to learn from Tapovan Maharaj, you had to walk all the way up to Uttarkashi. Will he not teach? 100% he will teach. Right? Will he not punish you? 100% he will punish you. Will he not be strict? He will be strict, but he still will teach. Because that is his essential nature. Now, Gurudev's way of the expression of compassion is go out. So, even in the Ramakrishna mission, right, there are Swamis who have taken Diksha, gone deep, actually gone ahead, and then they go off. They go off, right? And then there are others like Swami Vivekananda, like Swamiji, who will go around the world 3 times despite 44, despite he had 26 separate medical conditions at one given point, right? So जब उनको cholera हुआ था, he had 26 different manifestations of different, but yet he was writing, he was talking, he was giving lectures, he was moving around. That both are compassionate. Compassion is their essential nature. How it manifests, how they represent it in the external world may be very different from person to person. Right? Some will say, I am here to give you sugar-coated pills. Some will say, I will only ask questions. Nisargadatta Maharaj would never give you an answer. Would never give you an answer. He would say, first sit down and think about this. Then tell me who was thinking. Raman Maharshi used to do exactly the same. Right? So, now moving forward to verse number 93. See, the question that is raised in 93 is what I call chain extrapolation. See, सवाल ये है कि आप ये बताया गया कि realized master जो है, unrealized master जो है, उसका body mind intellect से identification छूट गया, and therefore there is no prarabdha. Very good. Let me accept that. But then, what is it that drives this body mind intellect has to be defined. And that he tries here by a very simple process of what is called chain extrapolation. Chain extrapolation or chain projection. Example, simple mathematical ये बता रहा हूं. If B has caused A and C has been caused by B, right? B has been caused by A हुआ, therefore B हुआ. B हुआ, therefore C हुआ. तो C होने पर D होने की संभावना 100% होती है. Right? Chain reaction. Chain extrapolation. That's the logic that is being used here. ठीक है? Example आपको normal day-to-day living से बताते हैं कि Meena ji lives in a less populated area than Mumbai. So, say she lives in Savai Madhopur. And suddenly, in her area, there is a building complex with 500 new families who come in. What is the consequence of that? The consequence of that will be 500 new cars will be in that area. Right? One consequence. There may be multiple. I'm just using one. 500 new cars in that area means what? 500 new cars means more traffic jam. More traffic jam means what? Now you project. अभी इधर तक मुझे ट्रैफिक जैम दिख रहा है, नेक्स्ट वाला मुझे नहीं दिख रहा है. नेक्स्ट वाला क्या प्रोजेक्शन है? ओ पोल्यूशन इन माय एरिया. लॉजिकल है? करेक्ट? नाउ we come back to saying what he says here in this particular shloka is swapna deha. He talks about swapna deha in the body of the dreamer. Right? There is a dreamer and there is a dream. We understand that? And the dreamer is living in the dream world. At the time of dreaming, the dream is completely real. Agreed? जब हम सपना देख रहे हैं, सपने में मुझे शेर भगा रहा है. अभी कुछ दिन 2 दिन पहले मेरी वाइफ को एक सपना आया कि हमारे घर पे मार्ली है. मीना जी आपको तो पता है हमारे घर में मार्ली है, राइट? एंड apparently in her dream I took Marley and I took him away to some distant place and I उसको छोड़ के आ गया. Right? The dream is very vivid. And she felt very upset about it. Right? Absolutely true. While in the dream, this is causing upsetness, this is causing dismay, this is causing disturbance. When you wake up, what happened to all that? It becomes a memory. Right? It becomes a memory. It is no longer real. It has become a memory. Now you have to understand, most of your memories are all therefore similarly false. Most of your memories. Right? Because they are colored by what you think. शायद उसने ऐसा सोचा इसीलिए उसने ऐसा किया. देखिए हम लोग कितना पास्ट में रहते हैं. Similarly, when you go into deep sleep, and after that you wake up, while in your deep sleep, the body's autonomous functions were working. Right? वो तो मशीन है, मशीन के जैसे चल रहा है. हार्ट, लिवर, इंटेस्टाइन, जो भी करना है कर रहा है. Was your body actually functional? No. Right? Other than the autonomous function, it was not functioning. Was your mind functional? No. Were there any thoughts, intellect functional? No. You woke up and you said, I slept. I had a great sleep. This I had a great sleep is also a memory. Do you understand that? Logically, it was okay. I had a great sleep is nothing but a logical statement, a memory statement. मांडुक्य उपनिषद ये बोलता है कि वो जो आनंद मैंने उस गहरी नींद में एक्सपीरियंस किया, वो यदि मैं इस जागृत अवस्था में एक्सपीरियंस कर सकूं, तो उसको तुरीय अवस्था नाम दिया. They called it the turiya अवस्था. Because in this अवस्था, in my present state, which is so-called जागृत अवस्था, if there is a dream state in which the dream and the dreamer are confused about the reality, then in the awakened state, same logical extension, अभी थोड़ी देर example दिया हम लोगों ने buildings का, same logical expansion, then in this awakening state, the awakened person, the awake person and the state he is in are also possible pigmentations of imagination. Can I be the witness to all of this? Can I be the witness to all of this? That is the logical explanation or logical extension that he takes. Let us see, is there any other place where he talks about, where Acharya talks about this? He talks about, see, Acharya is very consistent. You have to remember one thing. Acharya is itni consistency, itne sare works hain. Nowhere does he break the consistency of Advaita Vedanta. Even when he does completely devotional texts extolling certain deities. Meenaji, Lalitaji, you are studying Saundarya Lahari. Completely a text which is based on extolling Ishvara in the form of Devi. But we have seen the undercurrent of Advaita over there, right? At every stage, every verse, wo Advaitic knowledge keeps bursting out. So similarly, in Viveka Chudamani, verse number 125, he says that asti kaschit tvayam nityam aham pratyavalamam. He says, asti, there is some, kaschit tvayam, self-existent, nitya, eternal, pratyavalamam, that which has, it is the substratum. Avalamban means the substratum. Avasthatraya sakshi. It says he is the sakshi to the three avasthas. And sa pancha kosha vilakshana, and distinct from the five koshas. He is not part of the five koshas. Right? What are the five koshas? Anybody remember? बीच बीच में रिवीजन करना जरूरी होता है. म्यूट पे बात करेंगे तो कुछ नहीं समझ में आएगा.
अन्नमय कोश, प्राणमय कोश, मनोमय, and आनंदमय.
Okay, now explain, please.
Annamaya is the body, because that's what takes the food in and so on. Pranamaya is the life force. No.
Pranamaya here in the kosha is the breath, not the life force. But also some people also put it as the life force. It's okay. There's no problem with that. Then
Manomaya.
The mental sheath.
Okay. Which holds what?
The mind, the thoughts,
Not
smriti,
the thoughts.
everything, the mind.
Not the
Thoughts.
thoughts. Not
Emotions.
correct. It is the holder of emotions.
Emotions.
Right. And then,
Okay, yeah.
Vijnana.
okay, what does
Intellect.
that hold? Yes, what does that hold?
Thoughts.
The thoughts. And then,
Anandamaya.
Anandamaya.
okay. And Anandamaya, what does it hold?
The bliss.
Avidya wala bliss.
It is the ego,
हाँ,
isn't it?
अविद्या वाला ब्लिस. वेरी नाइस. अविद्या से ब्लिस आने लगा तो बहुत अच्छा है. हम लोग सब अविद्या में डूबते रहेंगे.
No, in the sense like a sleep, like a deep sleep, no?
No,
Like
okay.
deep sleep.
It carries the horde of vasanas. It is the store of vasanas. So if you look at it, the sthula sharira is the first two, Anandamaya kosha and the Pranamaya kosha. The second two, the Manomaya kosha and the Vijnanamaya kosha, are the Sukshma sharira. And Anandamaya kosha is the Karana sharira. And the Atman,
Yeah.
right? In Nirvana Shatakam, what does he say? Na pancha kosha, right? Name pancha kosha, name saptavayuhu, right? So I am not the five koshas. When he says I am not the five koshas, but when I transmigrate, vasamsi जीर्णानि यथा विहाय, बोलकर मैं एक शरीर को छोड़ के दूसरा शरीर में जब जा रहा हूं, तो साथ में मेरे स्कूल बैग ऑफ रसगुल्लास हर समय साथ में रहेगी. ये मेरा आनंदमय कोश है. इसी को यही मेरा कारण बनता है फॉर द नेक्स्ट फॉर द नेक्स्ट लाइफ. That is that bundle that I am carrying with me, which is called Sanchita. The moment I take birth, I put it into action and it becomes what is called Prarabdha. So here in this particular verse, he very clearly enunciates a very, very important truth. He says that the body in the dream state, the dreamer's body is a superimposition of the mind. It is illusory. Similarly, in the waking state, then this wakefulness is also a superimposition. Superimposition of what? Superimposition of my identification with body, mind, intellect. Right? Superimposition का मतलब क्या? हम लोगों ने जब हम लोग ब्रह्मसूत्र कर रहे थे तब सुपरइम्पोजिशन का हम लोगों ने एक नाम दिया था. राइट?
अध्यास
भाष्य. अध्यास. सुपरइम्पोजिशन मीन्स नहीं. सुपरइम्पोजिशन मीन्स अध्यास. राइट? अध्यास. देखा था ना हम लोगों ने बहुत. Actually, we spent more time on the preface, which is अध्यास भाष्य than
rope and snake वाला.
हाँ, absolutely, the rope and snake. सर ये good, आपने बोला, मैंने नहीं बोला. ये pot, snake और tree, ये तीन अब मैं नहीं बोलूंगा. अभी आप लोग ही बोलेंगे इसको. और sorry, post, ghost, ये भी मैं नहीं बोलूंगा. So these adhyasa that we do, right? This happens because of what? Because of the two powers of Maya. What are the two powers of Maya? Two powers of Maya. Okay, clue. She hides and she projects. What are the names of the two powers? Avarana Shakti and Vikshepa
Shakti. Yes.
Right? She hides and she projects. Correct? The power of Maya. And what is Maya? Yamasa Maya. That which does not exist is Maya. And very clearly, this is one of the Vedantic riddles we ask. One of the riddles is, all that begins will have to have an end. Yes, no? जातस्य ही ध्रुवो मृत्यु बोलते हैं ना. सही है कि नहीं है? All that will be born. हाँ. अभी if something therefore is not born, will it end? यदि कोई अजन्म है तो फिर नहीं, माया भी अजन्म है, मगर माया माया का अंत है। माया का अंत कहाँ है? जहां ज्ञान है। So Maya is the only entity, Maya is ignorance, avidya, right? Is the only entity that actually exists, has no beginning, but will end. Anything else, whatever you want to call it, if you call it Ishvara, it has no beginning, it will not end, right? Again and again, we keep hearing the words Akshara, we hear the words Nitya. In Bhagavad Gita, we keep hearing these words to be describing that which is eternal. Correct? So here he says that the Swapna Dehe Adhyasta, superimposed. The body is superimposed. तो यदि मैं ये बोल रहा हूं कि ये पूरा जो अभी मैं देख रहा हूं ये भी सुपर इम्पोजिशन ही है, तो फिर जन्म कैसे हुआ? जन्म भी एक सुपर इम्पोजिशन ही है. Yeah.
So what happens at the final dissolution, when everything merges back to the Parabrahman, does Maya continue?
So good question.
See, because Krishna says that even the Maya is his thing. So if it doesn't start, then it cannot end also. It must be carrying on. It is his desire.
So therefore, since Advaita Vedanta actually cannot or does not want to get into explaining that which is useless, as according to Acharya, he keeps saying this. It is completely useless to get into this. But people like you and I want to know. So how does this come about? So in the Devi Bhagavata, this has been explained. And perhaps amongst a lot of texts that I have read, one of the only texts where I've seen a very logical, clear explanation of the entire genesis of this explanation is that the Brahman is an undifferentiated cosmic whole. Correct? Undifferentiated. In that undifferentiated cosmic whole arises a small spandana. That spandana is self-generated, right? The example that we use in the Bhakti tradition is very simple. I've used this earlier also, is that you have a ball in your hand and you are happy with the ball. And then suddenly you see a nice wall over there, you throw the ball at the wall and you catch it. Will you feel happier? Suddenly there is that spark of extra joy. That is called Leela. And that Leela causes a spandanam. That spandana originates in the form of Parashakti. The moment there is spandana, the first origination is Parashakti. Right? Here is that undifferentiated whole, cosmic whole, whatever you want to call it. You call it Brahman, you call it Vishnu, you call it Shiva. It doesn't matter. It depends upon your tradition, your culture, your background, your baggage. Right? It's all baggage. You are an Advaitist, you will call it Brahman. You are a Shaiva, you will call it Shiva. You are a Vaishnava, you will call it Vishnu. It doesn't matter. Right? These are all names that we have given. Brahman does not come to you and say, I am Brahman, except some people who call me and tell me I am Brahman speaking. Right? So, but barring those people, in general, Brahman does not announce its declaration. It is only Ishvara who can declare who I am. In Rigveda, there is a Devi Sukta. Rigvediya Devi Sukta. Aham Rudredhi Vasu Bhichara. Padiyega. Rigvediya Devi Sukta. She announces who I am. मैं कौन हूं. जब वो प्रकट होती है तो मैं कौन हूं. That is that first spandana of Parashakti. But Parashakti is now at Brahman stage. She is, or she or he or it is Trigunatita. But the moment there is a spandana, it becomes Trigunamaya. And then the three gunas separate and manifest. These three were given names: Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati, Mahakali. Then they further break up and all that, and that is how the genesis happened. So that first spandana that you talked about, right? The final pralay, Mahapralay, and then the regeneration of this entire world. But all of this oscillation, all of it is what? A superimposition. Acharya is completely uncompromising, saying that all of this vibration that you are seeing is nothing but a superimposition on the substratum called Brahman. And hence here he says, therefore, where is the birth? There is no question of birth. There is no question of death. So he goes on, and if you read Gurudev's explanation on the text, then you will very clearly see that he talks about the ghost in the post, right? So I will not talk about it. Ghost post बहुत हो गया. अब हम ghost post की बात नहीं करेंगे. So he talks about it, and he explains it, and he goes on in saying that this in verse 94 he says upadanam prapanchasya. What is the upadanam? Upadanam, there are two different types of karana. Okay, Brahma Sutra students, please remember this. Tell me and explain what are the two types of karana. कोई रिवीजन नहीं कर रहा है. वीडियोस क्यों बनाए हैं फिर? You are on mute, Raghuji.
Repeat the question again, please.
The question is, what are the two types of karana?
नैमित्तिक कारण
हाँ,
और एक और है.
हाँ, वही और है.
सॉरी.
Material cause and material cause and nimitta, no? Nimitta.
Very good, very good. Upadana karana and nimitta karana. Upadana karana means upadana karana means the material cause. The material cause. And the nimitta karana is the intelligent cause. Anything that is required requires the two causes, right? I'm sorry, I will use the pot again. But the pot, if it has to be created, it requires the mud, which is the upadana karana. It requires the potter whose intelligence, whose consciousness, whose brain, whose skill is being used to create the pot. Correct? So here he says that the material cause of this pot is mud. Similarly, Vedanta says that the material cause for this entire universe is ignorance. Now, what happened to ignorance when knowledge came? It vanished.
It vanished.
If the cause vanished, will the effect be there? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a very, very deep statement. You have to think about this. The cause itself vanished. Will the effect exist? There is no effect. Cause ही नहीं है. So then, what am I seeing? Oh, what I'm seeing is a movie. Went back to the movie state. Very powerful, 93, 94, very powerful, very deep manan has to be done on this too to be able to understand him. So therefore, he very clearly says that Ajnanam chaiva vedantaihi tasmin nashte kwa vishvata. Tasmin nashte. When that is destroyed, that ignorance is destroyed. How? Through the knowledge of Brahman. Through the knowledge of Brahman. Because what happened here? Very clearly, he says, the question of birth cannot exist, isn't it? What does chapter 2, verse 20? Chapter 2, verse 20. What does it say? Anybody remembers chapter 2, verse 20, Bhagavad Gita? Na jayate mriyate yiva kadachit nayam bhutva bhavitva vana bhuyaha ajo nityam shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. याद है? हम लोगों ने ये किया हुआ है, बहुत टाइम स्पेंड किया था इसके ऊपर. It cannot be, it is not born, it is not die, it does not die, it does not kill, it cannot be killed, etc., etc. And later on, he further goes on to describe that the wind will not dry it, and so on and so forth. It has eternally existed. There is no question of it being born. And if it was not born, and it is not Maya, then it will not die. That is the essential Vedantic principle being laid out in verses 92 and 93 and 94. See, going back to this concept of 93 and 94 again, I'm taking them together, and we look at Prarabdha. There is a very beautiful story. In North India especially, if people are affected by Shani dosh, right? Shani ki साढ़े साती, Shani ki साढ़े तेरह ki whatever that is. Do you know which temple or which deity they go to pray? Any idea?
Shani Shingnapur.
वो तो शनि की पूजा करने के लिए। शनि से जिसको इफेक्ट हुआ है, शनि जिसके ऊपर शनि की दोष दशा चल रही है, उस वो किसकी पूजा करता है? हाँ जी, बोलिए।
शनि।
They go to the Vishnu temple.
Okay. So, in generally in North India, they go to Hanuman. Okay, they go to Hanuman, and there's a reason. There's a beautiful story behind this. See, शनि की दशा में शनि के पास जाके बोल के कोई मतलब नहीं है, right? There is a very nice pravachak called Dushyant Sridhar, young chap, speaks in Tamil and English. English वाले आप मीना जी and Lalita ji, you can Google for him Dushyant Sridhar and look at the English pravachans. Very beautiful. In one of his pravachans, he very nicely says that the grahas are supposed to do their own job. They will have some effect. You will have a Shani Dasha, then you will have a Buddha Dasha, then you will have a Chandra Dasha, and so on and so forth. They are doing their job. Now, just imagine, आपके घर में एक चोर घुस गया, तो आप क्या करेंगे?
पुलिस को बुलाएंगे।
पुलिस को बुलाएंगे ना?
पर
कि आप चोर के सामने खड़े होकर उछल कूद करके बोलेंगे चोर 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 चोर, क्या बोलेंगे आप?
दोनों चीजें करेंगे, पहले तो चोर चोर भी बोलेंगे, फिर पुलिस को भी
नहीं, मगर
बुलाएंगे।
चोर चोर किसको बोलेंगे? चोर चोर आप पुलिस को
वो
बोलेंगे
जो
या चोर चोर जो खड़ा है उसको
जो
चोर चोर
चोर
क्यों बोलेंगे? अरे वो तो क्यों, वो तो हाँ भाई चोर हूँ, आया हूँ, क्या और क्यों बुला रहे हो? आ गया हूं मैं, और क्यों बुला रहे हो? राइट, सो यू हैव टू गो टू द policeman. Now, in case of Shanidev, what is Shanidev's function in the cosmological duties? Any idea?
वो ऐसे न्याय के देवता माने जाते हैं कि
कर्म,
जिसने जैसा कर्म किया।
न्याय नहीं, न्याय का देवता यमराज है।
कर्म 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 के अनुसार
हाँ,
कर्म।
कर्म फल दाता, ही इज कॉल्ड कर्म फल दाता, राइट? इन हिज सहस्र नाम ऑफ शनीश्वरा देयर इज अ नेम कॉल्ड कर्म फल दाता. So he makes sure that you get the phala of your karmas, good or bad. If you have good karma, you will get good. Even Shani Sadesati will not be bad for you because you will have good karmas and therefore you have good results. So, Shani, they went to Shiv and said, it is time for me to enter your astrological chart. So Shiva says, okay, wait. And Shiva went inside a bale tree. बेल पत्ते का पेड़ होता है ना, उसके अंदर में छिप गए. उसके अंदर में छिप के 7.5 साल के बाद बाहर निकले और भी बोला क्या हुआ, कुछ तो नहीं कर पाए? बोले मैं शिव जी 7.5 साल तक मेरे डर से आप बेलपत्ते के पेड़ के अंदर में घुस के बैठ गए, वही तो शनि की दशा है. राइट? भगवान श्री रामचंद्र के ऊपर क्या हुआ? शनि का प्रकोप हुआ एंड वनवास गए. करेक्ट. भगवान श्री कृष्ण को क्या हुआ? तो उनके ऊपर चोरी के इल्जाम लगे, 7 टकमणि का चोरी का इल्जाम लगा. तो वैसे ही राम सेतु बंधन के समय, राम सेतु बंधन हो रहा है एंड एक्चुअली इट इज नॉट कॉल्ड राम सेतु. हाँ, इंसिडेंटली, डू यू नो इट्स रियल नेम? इट इज कॉल्ड नल सेतु बिकॉज द बिल्डर इज द आर्किटेक्ट के ऊपर नाम होता है ना. राम इज द स्पॉन्सर, द बिल्डर इज नला, विश्वकर्मा सन. So Nala is an architect. So Nala Setu, when Nala Setu is being built, all the Vanars were taking stones, taking them and throwing them into the water. And this is a popular story. It is not there in Valmiki. Huh? So then Shani Dev manifests in front of Hanumanji and says, "Hey Vayuputra, अभी मेरा समय हो गया, मैं तुम्हारे अंदर प्रवेश करूंगा." So Hanuman says, please, it is your duty. You have to do what is your duty. Nobody can stop you. Please come. So he tried to enter. But unfortunately, wherever he was trying to enter, there was Ram standing over there. That place was occupied by Ram. So he was not able to go through. So he came out and he said, कि मैं तो घुस नहीं पा रहा हूँ. Your body is like iron, vajra. No, not like iron, it's like a vajra. It's hard as diamond. I'm unable to penetrate, but I have to do my duty. So he says, okay, you do one thing. You sit on my head. Come, sit on my head. Okay, बैठ गया. अब काम क्या चल रहा है? नल सेतु बंधनम, पत्थर ले रहे हैं, जय श्री राम, जय श्री राम, जय श्री राम। एंड शनिदेव के माय फ्रंट, बहुत हो गया और नहीं मार खाना है मेरे को, मुझे प्लीज थोड़ा तेल दे दो, तेल का मालिश करते हैं, तिल का तेल का मालिश करते हैं। That is why in Shani Puja, they use til oil to worship him, because he has still got body pain because Hanuman gave him a beating. So he says, I will not go to I will not do any trouble for any devotee of Hanuman. Now, what is the principle here? The principle is not that Shani will not come and make an effect. The principle is, because of my devotion, I will accept that whatever happens is prasad. And therefore there is no effect. Because प्रसाद कैसा होता है? प्रसाद कैसा होता है? अच्छा होता है. Wherever you go, whichever temple you go, whatever you get as prasad, what do you say about the prasad? Prasad mila. You're happy. Prasad mila. So whatever happens, whether it is a karma phala and so on and so forth, the whole law of causality becomes nullified because I refuse to accept the effects. And that is the status of the realized master. Right? Good. Let us end for today. And next class we will do 95 and 96. So if you have the book, if you don't, you can find you can find Aparokshanubhuti on Kindle. You can find it on Amazon. You can download the online version. You can buy the hard copy version. हम लोग text को ही follow करेंगे, so that we are all on the same page. Literally, we are on the same page. And so we will try and finish 94 and 95. Sorry, 93, 94 अभी किया, 95 and 96 we will do in the next session. ठीक है? शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम.